let's tap in. Let's see what messages are coming through for the collective. I don't care deck in full effect. Okay, it says, I am always a child. So I'm getting silly, carefree. You know, you're the type of person I feel like that works hard, but is hardly working. You know, like your field, whatever it is that you do for a living, is something that you add a light and a fun nature to. You know, you can have a really outgoing, extroverted spirit about yourself, you know, where when you step out, you bring this energy with you that's inviting, that's igniting, and free. We got yes coming out. And so I feel like you have a spirit that's encouraging. You know, it's like you are the life of the party. You bring people out of their shell. You ignite spaces that may be dark or dim, and you bring a vibrancy that draws people in. We got you are not your emotions. For some of you, you could have blue eyes. Blue eyes could be significant. Blue Ivy, you know, you may like Blue Ivy, Beyonce's daughter. Take it as it resonates. But there's this energy I feel like of you making the most of every situation, and your emotions being a superpower. You know, it's like your emotions flow like a river, and you flow with them. You know, they're like a current. They're a sea, and so I feel like you're somebody that may be sensitive. You know, you could be an empath, very in tune when it comes to other people's emotions and what it is that you're sensing. Like, you know, basically you manage difficult situations well. You know, you don't wear your emotions on your sleeve. You're not afraid to be seen in whatever it is that you're feeling. But there could be like two sides where, you know, you go out and you're fun, you're free, but then also the aspect of you like to keep your deeper emotions to yourself. You know, like cry when no one's looking. Take it as it resonates. You know, everybody has their coping mechanism and how they like to deal with pain and things of that sort. But that's what I'm getting. You know, it's like two sides. Like this person goes out, they're put together, they got their show face on, but behind closed doors, you know, there's some tears that are being wiped away. You know, but the next two cards we got coming out is smile, smile more, even more, and back to the basics. Stargazing could be significant for some of you. There's a lot of stars down here. You know, you could be a star seed. You could be, you know, very in tune with astrology and things of that sort. You can have a very beautiful smile about yourself. That could be something that people admire about you. And once again, a lot to do with the emotions. And so I feel like you could also be somewhat of an intense person. You know, like you have range. And well, back to the basics. You know, I feel like you're true to yourself. You're pretty authentic. Your health, your regimen, that's something that you take seriously. And I also feel like you could be the type of person that likes to spicing things up and have fun when it comes to cooking. You know, have fun when it comes to certain dishes and what makes you happy. You know, you can have a very vibrant, exquisite taste. You have a desire for things that are fruitful, that are delicious, that are, you know, nutritious. And how you go about creating these things, I feel like it's fun. You know, like it's something that you enjoy doing. We have Stop Complaining, which came out in the challenge position next to I Am Always a Child. And so for some of you, I feel like that could have been something that you had to heal from, you know, was dealing with a lot of negativity growing up, hearing a lot of toxicity, people complaining, you know, so you may have a low tolerance for that type of energy now. You're quick to put energies on mute if you have to. Take that as it resonates. You know, if you don't want to hear a phone call or whatever the case may be, do not disturb. Maybe a setting on your phone that you're very equipped to using. All right, we got do not panic, which came out on top of you are not your emotions. And so I feel like for some of you, you could deal with a little bit of anxiety or maybe something that you're learning to tame. Doing nothing is fine too. Turn your tongue 7 times in your mouth before speaking. Yeah, so this is giving me like overthought. You know, for some of you, you may have a lot of things on your mind. You know, so you're finding that balance between unwinding, you know, taking a break from reality, taking a break from your thoughts and finding peace. And I'm being drawn to the coffee. So some of you could be coffee drinkers. You could be really heavy coffee drinkers. Stimulants could be very significant. You know, detaching could be significant. I'm getting like soft life. Some of you could be like on your soft life phase right now, your soft life journey. 12-12 could be significant. And the last card we have coming out is I'm not always an angel. So once again, something about balance and duality. Some of you could be in a space of transition in your life, you know, of integration. At the bottom of the deck, we have let's go out of our comfort zone. Inhale, exhale, and tomorrow is another day. So meditation could be significant for some of you. And coming out of your shell. You know, I feel like you've gone through your fair share of darkness, and this is the space of transmutation, you know, where what was is now your power, and it's not in the shadow anymore. Take that as it resonates, you know, because you've awakened to those things that may have been driving you or hidden within your subconscious. And so tomorrow is a new day. I feel like for some of you, you know, you're in a space of imagination. Imagination could be significant. Doing something new, you know, not afraid to step out of your comfort zone, not afraid to, we got surprised and relieve the pressure. Not afraid to pop out, you know, pop out on the scene, into a new scene, and tell a new story, is what I heard. You know, I feel like there's a new story that's awakening for you, that's unraveling for you. And some of you could be good storytellers, you know, that could be significant. You could be writers, you could be big on journaling and self-expression. But I'm gonna leave that right there. Take these messages as they resonate. Whatever doesn't resonate, leave behind. If you made it this far, I appreciate you listening, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.